So, oh, you start spinning. It starts spinning. I'm at a place where I don't want to sit still, but I'm kind of forced to sit still. And so instead of like just sitting, in a claustrophobic mindset of just being like still, I just decided to come to, well, I didn't decide it. I just end up here. You can kind of see the algae and all that stuff in the water here. And so it's kind of therapeutical, you know, and then it's kind of grounding too, you know, like I took off the shoes, so it's kind of like zen, you know, zen moment. And so there's like these wind chimes nearby. I don't know where they are, but it gives a nice, pleasant sound alongside with the naturalness of the water and also the outsideness of the leaves as well. And so it kind of makes the area feel very, very zen at the same time. Great for this video or, capturing the moment. But more than definitely, I can say this, is putting on these shoes is more detrimental than actually beneficial. And it's actually a little bit more therapeutical. Oh, and now you hear the sirens. But that's, if you think about it, even the unnatural things is natural in life. If you think about it. I know it sounds paradoxical, but it's all one world. So it all comes from one element. It's all carbon. And if you consider carbon black, then you got to think everything comes from carbon. Everything on Earth is carbon, if you think about it. Hi, whoever you are, hi. Is it William? How you doing, William? There's nothing more exciting than being zen, I guess. 'Cause like I said, I found this place, but you know, you have to make it out to be whatever you make it out to be. And I left my windows down in my car, and there's a car beside my car. So I'm gonna go be safe and get my wallet and ID out my car so nobody take my stuff. This is America. Stuff do happen. People do things. And I don't think I rolled up the windows in my car. But that was a very zen place. You have to be cautious, man. You just have to be cautious. Like, it's a cool place, but, you have to be cautious. Aware of your surroundings and things of that nature. Like, I'm going to be talking about topics and things of that nature that may disturb others, but it may be confirmation for some too. I don't want you guys to kind of like get aggressive or heartbroken about things. That's a funny little thing. I don't know what that is, but it's funny looking. So, so it could be disturbing to others. It could be emotional, impactful to some. No, it could be crazy. You never know how it may go. But, it can hurt or rattle the hearts of a lot of people due to, their emotional impact of like harsh reality. And that can really mess with people a lot. Now I'm back in my car. The only thing I need out my car is the key. But I gotta find my wallet. Where the fuck is my wallet? Where the heck is my wallet? Oh, there it goes. Hi. Because you can't trust nothing or no one in America. Now let's go back to being Zen. You know? Because that's the thing. It's not that the fact you can't trust. And I'm gonna be honest with you. As an American, I trust melanated people more than anybody else. Like, we're the nicest people there is. Like, it's even been admitted by other nationalities and races that we're overly nice, and a lot of times we get taken advantage of. All right, so basically, main thing: wallet secure, car secure. I shut the doors and lock the doors in my car because I can't just be out here with open cars and stuff. So I'm not gonna do it like that. I'm just gonna open it up and show you guys a little bit. It's a nice trail. All right, now we're going back down. Oh shoot! I hit my ankle on the rock. So you guys out doing rock climbing and stuff all the time? I don't know how. Now we back on Zen. Back on Zen. Oh, let me put my key in the shoe on the concrete because I don't want the shoe getting wet. I don't want those on. I don't want the key fob getting wet because it's an electric key fob, so nut can get in the car afterwards. Oh, it is kind of hard to. But back to the Zen part. Like, everything comes from carbon. So initially, like, you have to realize all is one is all is love is God. I kind of like, if I were to preach anything, that's the only thing that I would preach. But getting back to the disturbing part. All right. The disturbing part is simple. Due to the melanation of one's skin, which is carbon, we as melanated holds more carbon than mass, meaning than most, and meaning that a lot of people naturally gravitate to us because one thing, it's cool to be melanated, and it disrupts a lot of people. Um, and I'm trying to talk from an unbiased point of view. I'm trying to talk from like a point of view that's like, like unbiased. Like, it's abnormal for people that's non-melanated to see melanated people in certain arenas. or of education or intellectual fights or things of that nature due to systematic racism. And it's not really like it's a bad thing. Well, it is a bad thing, but that's not really anything you can fight up hand by saying, oh, I'm gonna do this. No, it's more so of just experience and changing narratives. And a lot of people, individuals, their mindset is your brain is reluctant to change. And if you've been taught something continuously over throughout the course of your life, it's hard to flip that belief of a harsh reality. And so, therefore, let's say if a person tends to be racist or something of that nature, it's hard for that person not to, due to the lack of experience, the lack of knowledge, and the lack of, understanding. So, it's gonna be more prone for a person to kind of like be racist the continuing of their life due to the fact that they're prone to it. That's all they know, that's all they see. Like, for instance, if you're a person of fair skin and you don't have a lot of melanated friends or family, then you really don't know anything about more of a melanated culture. And so, or educated person. And so, what you see is going to deteriorate or back you up from, and so, therefore, it's not going to really attract the people that's like you. And so, well, it's not going to attract those people to you because, it's just like, if I'm this, then you're gonna only hang around that or this, and then if you that, then you're only gonna hang around that, and so and then the fear of stereotypes, jokes, and all of these things, it kind of pushes people farther and farther away from the harsh reality, like and I know it's crazy to say, well, I see this on the internet, but I want you to imagine one thing first and foremost, like to fill up a room of 100,000 people is not as much as you think it is. To fill up a room of, let's say, no, to fill up a room of 500 people is not as hard. It's really a very packed, big room. 500 people in a room is a lot of people in a room. 5,000 people in the room, that's down there like a football stadium, a high school football stadium. 10,000, 40,000 people, that's like an arena. And you think about the amount of views that you may get on the net, it really can fill up the arena of people, that may see something, pretty quickly. And it's easy for a melanated person to kind of do that because we naturally attract. It's not nothing that others don't do. It just we naturally attract a little bit more. And with understanding that, it leads into jealousy and envy from others in good ways and bad ways as well. But, getting back to the point is just like, it could be off-putting, especially if the wrong message gets out there to an arena of people they don't know. And so with that, it kind of hurts a lot of individuals because what happens is mainstream media don't focus on the mass majority, they focus on the minority. And it's programmed throughout society of your entertainment world to do that. Like the entertainment world focus on the minority and classify that as the majority. And that's the deteriorating part. Like, for instance, if you automatically assume, if you see me in person, you probably would have automatically assumed one thing. But if you actually got to know someone, it'd have been, oh, wow, there's turtles. I wish I could show you guys these turtles. But they're all up on the water right now. I guess they're not in the water. I don't know if there's something in the water, like a snake or gator or something. There's a lot of little fishes in there, and that's the zen part. Like, sometimes you have to get zen and open up to reality. It feels good. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is true more times than not. It is. It's a sad reality. You know, it's a sad reality. And the saddening part is foreigners that wish they had the things that melanated people had, and they treat melanated people worse. And you need the things that melanated people, FBAs, have. Just like begging for something and biting the hand that feeds you. And melanated people will allow you to bite and still beg because we believe in a thing called forgiveness. And a lot of other people, it's in their natural desire to not forgive, but to divide and conquer. And if you go throughout life in that belief of divide and conquer, then you never will succeed because the only thing you think is about you and owning and how you can take. Rather than living in peace, you read many of, non-carbonated, they lack love. And so they rather divide and conquer and systemize. And so what happens is other nationalities, other flavors, I will put it like that, other flavors of earth uh, try to follow into the blandness of the salt rather than falling in the footsteps of the pepper and being its own flavor, or the footsteps of the cayenne, or the footsteps of the mango, or the footsteps of other seasons or turmeric or things of that nature. Um, you rather follow the footsteps of the salt because you see the structure of the salt and you think the salt has a divine structure that you desire. But what's sugar is not always, what's white is not always sugar. Sometimes it's salt. And so, sometimes you have to not lean onto the path of others, but lean onto your own path. Like whitening yourself because you're trying to fit in, or leaning onto your own ancestries because you kind of deteriorate from your own beings and stuff like that. And that's the saddening part. And you come into a foreign land, which is my home, and you ridicule me on my land, but if I pray to my ancestors stuff for your downfall and you fall, then I create justice for myself, but you will never understand. That's the crazy part. But you have foreigners come in and they annex with their guns and their hate and their violence, and they kill and they steal and they pick. Like, for instance, the guy, president, he went into a country and kidnapped the other president, and thought it was okay, and beat his wife and stuff of that nature. And then on top of that, when one of his get kidnapped, he wants the death penalty for one of his. And so it's an unfair I want, we, I, me. It's a lot of hate and anger inside their hearts. And so you can't fight that. And the crazy part is I did like them at first, but as I become more open, I see nothing but chaos and destruction. And it's the complete opposite. It's more of a self thing for them. And you're going to relate to it because many guys in their hearts, you're going to be like, oh man, this is right. But when you realize, like, their right is wrong, it's only a biased right for what's biased to them. And you shouldn't say them, that. It's just, we have other life forms on this earth that, we have other beings on this earth that, it's not even a belief. It's just a way it is. it's like no connection. Like for instance, I don't know if you. It's like everyone don't have a connection like carbonated people. Like for instance, I love the sun. Some people hate the sun. Surprisingly, I could put it like that. Like why? Because it may darken them, or it may give them knowledge that exposes them truth. Like everybody don't like the light. Everybody don't love the light. Some people hate the light. Some people, it deteriorates them. It exposes their true colors, and it exposes their unseasonedness. And what happens is when that light is deteriorated, it it embarrasses them. It eats them up inside because they see the truth of what they're doing, and they see the chaos and the self-destruction. And instead of accepting and correcting self-destruction at that time, what happens is you kind of like you self-destruct, and you fall in love with the evilness that you do. And so you make excuses, you tell yourself this, you tell yourself that, but the harsh reality is you only hurting yourself and the others that's around you, rather than exposing yourself and saying, hey, I'm wrong, forgive me, I'm wrong. I don't want this. This is not the life that I desire. This is not the light that I desire. This is not the truth that I desire. So I want to change this and be better and more zen and live in love. Because everybody don't have a desire to live in peace, love, and happiness. Some people, some beings, I could say, have self-hate, and they don't know where it comes from. And a lot of times it just comes from trauma or being raised in it or growing up in it. And so you can't really stop it. The water flows. It doesn't care about my emotions. It flows because that's the natural way for it to go. It's at peace. It's comfort. It lives. It flows. There's peace and it goes. The water flows as it goes. I'm not a poetry writer or nothing, you guys, but this is a pretty zen setting. I give you that. And if you're watching this, ask me a question or something. Just down here by the, what do you call it, the creek. I'm not gonna just use a couple big words and just say, oh, I'm this intellectual, confident person. No, man, just be a realist. The thing about AI nowadays and technology is it's coming so in tune. I don't want to say smart, but I want to say in tune that it's reading beyond measurable. Like it's unmeasurable the amount of reading that is doing. Like, and you have to be aware of that. Like it knows the character of you before anything. The human experience is a spiritual divine. It's not the only one, but if we're molecules on Earth that's just vibrating together and sticking to be one, what attracts the molecules together would be the spirit, the soul, the power of you. And so some would say the God within. And you have others that believe there's no there's no God within. There's only a higher being, but it's just like all is one, one is all is love, love is God. So how can you comprehend that? Like there's more, but it's only I feel you have to be able to fill yourself up to connect to that being. Let go of the devices for a while, like a long period of time. It's like detoxing. Like some would say cannabis, but how come you can't connect on that higher spectrum without anything that's mind altering? Yes, it's a herb, but there's many herbs just to align yourself up. Like for instance, I may come to the ground and find peppermint. That may align me in one category. But being able to do it without the help of herbs and just the natural being of being with the right foods, then that can really kind of take you over the top to the next level itself. Because you're not thinking about what you consume to take you over to that level. You think about just being. Like, just be. I don't know. Everybody don't know. Everybody don't know. It's just one of those things you just have to feel to be. Yes, that's what I'm saying. The herbs, it strip you of your character. It strip you of you. You're not really aligned yourself. It's just like my field of expertise is marketing and advertising, but most people fail to realize advertisements is just an enhancement of what is, and so is herbs. Like it's just an enhancement of what is. It's not for you to become or depend on. It's just what is. That's all. Like, you know, look at this. I'm about to go behind this wall here. I'm gonna take you guys with me right quick because this is America. This is my native land. You see this creek right here? I'm gonna explore this right quick. Let's see if I can do it this way. Okay.